Had the microphone on mute. Yeah, thanks, Meg. That's why we pay her the big bucks to be the moderator that she is, because she is awesome. Is keeping us straight. So, but yeah, thanks everyone. I'm Josh from Moonlight Adventures, and we are so happy to be here this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 7 o'clock in the evening Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we appreciate each and every one of you that joined us, and thank you for being here. Real quick, take care of a little bit of admin business here. We'd like to thank all our moderators. So thank you, Miss Meg, Danny, Amy, Kenny, Kelly and Tammy, Blaine, Sean and Alana, and Anthony Simone, the modigator. And this is Shootin the Breeze with Moonlight Adventures. Welcome. So today's going to be a pretty special show. We've got some special guests with us, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their channel and answer some questions about what it is they do, who they are, and we think you guys are going to have a great time. So let's go to the chat, see who's here with us, say hi to everyone. So over in the chat, we have Miss Meg. We have Miss Crystal with Destinations Delight. Good morning. Miss Carla with Carla Vision. Great to see you. Good to be here. The Downunder Cruisers, who will be coming up live on the panel here very shortly, and we're very excited about that. And Miss Najuma Brown. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right. So for you guys down under, I know you don't, obviously you don't celebrate American Independence Day, but we have an agent or an advocate, I guess, for lack of a better term, that works with us. And his name is Herman Merman. And he goes out and he finds people to do commercials for us, or people that would like us to do a commercial and sponsor our Shooting the Breeze episodes. And then, of course, this is not Shooting the Breeze, but I thought you guys may want to see the commercial that we did with our recent sponsor. So we're going to go ahead and throw that up there for you guys. I know it's early in the morning for the Americans. However, this is perfect for prime time in Australia. So here we go.
Episode of Moonlight to you by Firebird's Three-Finger Firework Hut.
But do you have whistling bungholes, spleen splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, cherry bombs, Nipsey daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or a single whistling kitty?
Well, of course they do, Joe Dierte. So hang around till the end of the show and find out how you could win a free cruise courtesy of Firebird's Three-Finger Firework Hut.
Firebird's Three-Finger Firework Hut is not real in any way. Neither are they sponsoring Moonlight Adventures Shootin' the Breeze. If you believe this, you're crazy!
So there you go. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. And if you guys don't know about the Firebirds, they're acquaintances. I'm not going to call them. So we're a partner with GW, and then the rest of the Firebirds, they're just acquaintances. But yeah, that's some of his family that runs a fireworks tent down here, and they are truly continuing to perpetuate the American stereotype of the crazy white trash redneck. But that's okay, to each their own. Old Garth Wayne, who runs that fireworks tent, he is the best three-finger firework handler on the East Coast of the United States. So always trust a guy with three fingers when it comes to fireworks. All right. So without further ado, I would like to bring our guests up. The Downunder Cruisers, Mr. Sean and Miss Alana.
G'day, g'day.
G'day, g'day. Oh.
I've met Three Finger. We've had personal experience.
How do you think he lost his hair?
Yeah, you lost your hair out. You burned your hair off also, huh?
Well, you know, somewhere there's a wick.
Yeah. So hey guys, good to have you.
Thank you.
It's always interesting because this is kind of funny. I learned the temperature difference and the climate differences through the Wiggles. My kids watch the Wiggles. Yeah. So I'm like, they're in shorts and they're celebrating Christmas. What I just never. I guess I knew it in the back of my mind, but it never struck me. So it's summer here, and obviously it's fall time or winter time down there.
We're about to have Christmas.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff.
Now, talking about temperature for you, we're currently sitting on 10 degrees C, and it feels like 7. And I was actually feeling for you, so I thought I'd have a coffee. I understand that you're struggling right now, so I thought I'd have a coffee for you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Cheers with my water. Yeah. Yeah. For those of you that may not know, I'm actually on a business trip in Maryland, and so I have a 9 o'clock meeting this morning, so I had to be up anyway. It's not like it's painful, other than the fact that the coffee is not ready downstairs yet. So I am drinking water. So yeah, but that's the reason for this beautiful background is I'm sitting in my hotel room doing this. But I didn't, I wanted to continue doing it. I like this. I think it's going to continue to grow. And
it is.
I really like getting my morning started this early. However, I can guarantee you tomorrow I'll probably wake up closer to like 8 o'clock, but I say that and I don't follow through, but yeah, we really like Sean and Alana. We've come to know them. You'll see there on their background, and I'm sure they're going to talk a little bit more about this. The Helping Hands for Cruising donation. I can never remember what you call those things.
QR code.
The picture takey thingy that'll take you to an internet link. You wouldn't know that I'm a program manager for highly technical things for the United States Army, by the way.
But wait a minute. Those that are the most highly technically minded never know what the thing is called. Those are the ones that create the thingamidooey, dingbat malaria, whatchamacallit.
Yeah, do what's it's.
I know what it does. That's the thing.
Doesn't matter what you call
Who cares?
it. Doesn't matter.
I can explain to you why it has all the little designs and everything it has in there. I just can't remember the name of it. Okay, so good deal. We'll go ahead and we'll start jumping into some of these questions. But yeah, Helping Hands for Cruising. I don't want to deviate from what I originally talked about. It's a great cause, worthy cause. The Ford man, Kenny, who's in the chat, he went ahead and dropped the link there. He's going to be the first recipient of what they do.
Yes, he is.
Just a very, very worthy cause. I encourage everyone to donate. We're going to have some fundraising events coming soon that we're going to try and pump up the funds there for those guys, because again, it's a niche thing, and it's something that's probably not thought about a lot that can help folks. And of course, I think Sean, you and I have talked about this before, but one of the greatest blessings of my life is being able to travel with the military, because it really opens up your eyes. Yep. And we don't think about there are those who, without a little help, would never get to experience that. It's a really great thing. Really great thing. So without further ado, for those that are in the chat that may not know, would you just tell everyone where you're from and what your channel's all about?
Sure. We're Ilana.
And you're Sean.
And we are the Downunder Cruisers from Melbourne, Australia. Our channel, the Downunder Cruisers, is to try and get you people across the pond to come and visit our fair shores in Australia, and also check out New Zealand, so that you might enjoy some of the niceties that we have. We've got some of the most exquisite scenery. We've got some of the most brilliant people. What can I say? But more importantly, we just want people to enjoy what we get experience. To come and have a look at Australia through our eyes and through our channel. added to that, we created the Helping Hands, which you wanted me to speak about as well. And
Yes.
Helping Hands was actually designed because we are going on a cruise on the 15th of October, out of Miami down through to the South Caribbean. And I asked a young man by the name of Kenneth Oakes whether or not he'd like to join us on the cruise. And his response was, yes, please. And I went, okay, get in touch with our TA, Cindy Spiker, and let her sort you out. So Kenny duly did that. And then I messaged Kenny a little while later and said, Kenny, are you coming with us? And he said, well, love to, but I haven't got a hope's chance in hell. So I came up with the idea amongst talking with Ilana and a few other friends and people that we're associated with. And we all came to the conclusion that maybe we should start a charity that would allow us to get people such as Kenny, people who have never traveled before, as in never been on a cruise before, I should say, for one reason or another, whether it be through some sort of disability or whether it's
caring for
they're
somebody,
caring
they
for
haven't got
somebody with a
time.
disability, or whether or not they didn't have the finances and it wasn't going to happen in the short term. And we looked at an opportunity to give them a holiday of a lifetime. So that's how Helping Hands for Cruising came about. So today I'm happy to announce that we have 2 cruises fully booked with recipients and a third one in the making at the moment and a fourth one a little while later down the track. So cruise number 1 is on the 15th of October, which Kenny is our first recipient. The second cruise is going out of Tampa, Florida, going to the West Caribbean on the 12th of March of next year. And Meg will be involved with that one. And also we will have James Catanese and his wife, Cindy, is our second recipients. And then we've got another cruise that we know of going out of Southampton doing the Mediterranean in September. And the fourth one is 2025. We want to drag everybody in for 2024 Christmas, but going out of Sydney and doing either the South Caribbean or New Zealand.
Pacific, I think. Wrong
I
ocean.
mean,
South
yes,
Pacific. It's the
wrong
way to
ocean.
go.
South Pacific.
South Pacific, yeah.
Whew, thanks for the correction. Yep, South Pacific or New Zealand, going out of Sydney and back into Sydney. And the reason why we want people in before New Year's for into Sydney is New Year's Eve, watching the fireworks off the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Nothing like it.
Absolutely awesome. So then immediately after that, first cruise out of there, doing either South Pacific or New Zealand. So that's us.
Wow, that's amazing. So that gives us plenty of time and no excuses to be able to make that cruise.
Correct.
Sure is. Plenty of time. Yep. Start saving.
So if you don't come, we'll come out there and drag you by the head.
Hey, we'll take that too. We have a cruise port up here, but as you've seen, it's a little bit of a mess.
Yep.
We sailed out of Norfolk this last time, and even though that's our home port, I doubt I will ever do it again. It was not good. So I got another question for you guys. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The biggest issue with that, with sailing out of your home port?
So it wasn't anything. There was nothing wrong with what Carnival was doing. It was all with the government and how they run that port. So
that's a
parking was
pain.
atrocious. Traffic was atrocious. And then when we got back, there were many cars that were damaged and broken into. It was bad. And some of the people that were on the cruise were a little disappointed because they were first-time cruisers and they didn't really understand because a couple of ports of call were canceled due to weather. So they were already a little angry. It wasn't good, but I mean, we had a good time and we didn't park. We had somebody drop us off because we could read the tea leaves and we're like, this is probably not going to be a good idea. But unfortunately, the damage was caused by the cops, which was kind of funny. The police caused the damage after they did the investigation into what actually happened. So the police were called because there were break-ins. And then when the police showed up to the parking lot, they crashed into some vehicles. And it was a really odd occurrence. I don't know. Norfolk's finest.
Well.
Hey, I love police officers, but in this case, I mean, there's always one, right?
Yep, that's it. You live
All
and
right,
learn.
so next question for Sean and Alana. When did you guys start your channel, and what made you decide to do it?
Okay, well, this was all him. He would keep disappearing, and I wondered where he was. And there he was in what's now our studio, playing with the computer, and all of a sudden he's got a YouTube channel. It's like, well, what have you been doing? I had no idea. So away you go.
There we
Well,
go.
actually, no, it was born out of our first cruise in 2016. Back to 2016, we were very excited about our first cruise on the Golden Princess to New Zealand. And we were looking at YouTube for ideas of the ship and destination. Had anyone been to New Zealand on a cruise, and the ship itself? And so we started looking at people like Sharon at Sea and Alida Loca. We were watching very early on. And I think that sort of had a light bulb moment for Sean. And COVID, we were stuck. Most of you would know by now we had the longest, hardest lockdown in the world. We're still only just really discovering our feet and our freedom even now. So that was good, probably good and bad timing. He had the time, but we had nowhere to go.
Yeah,
I was actually it was actually suggested to me by Neil from To Travel and Tour that maybe I should look at creating a YouTube channel. And I'm going, seriously? Who wants to hear from a dumb Aussie down in Australia? And he goes, everybody. All right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's when we think of, especially sometimes us narrow, I don't want to say narrow-minded, maybe short-sighted Americans with, because our country is large, like Australia, and you don't always think about another country being English-speaking and so similar, but yet so different at the same time. Yep. And that's kind of why I started doing this, because I enjoyed through the military. I've met a lot of Aussies. I've met a lot of folks from the UK through working with some of your great service members. And so this was right up my alley. I'm like, oh, I love these folks. They're very similar to us, and it gives us an opportunity to talk to folks that are maybe outside of the market that we target, right? So, which we want to provide something for you folks down under as well, because you're so awesome and so great. I mean,
thank you.
Thank you.
I've never met an Australian asshole, but I'm sure they're out there.
Well, they're in politics.
Not our politics.
No, sorry. Whoops. But I did want to say to you, first of all, to your son, congratulations on his promotion, but more importantly to both of you, thank you for your service. If it wasn't for guys like you, we in Australia would not have some of the benefits as well. So,
yeah, it's very true. And it's always it's a funny thing to me, because you have, as a service member, you can have very polarizing ideas in comparison to other people. And, you look at that and you go, I may disagree with you. However, I fought for you to be able to have the right to do that thing. And it's actually a great thing that you can do that thing that I disagree with, which is, it's kind of a weird position to be in, but it's always been good for my kids, because they've been able to see things from another perspective and agree to disagree on things. And if the entire world could learn to do that a little bit better, maybe we would be in better shape right now.
Amen. I agree with that.
But I think the world would be a very boring place if we all agreed on the same thing, though.
You are exactly.
We need a nice variety of opinions and
well, listen, you can
and
agree with
colourful ideas.
Listen, I will agree with anything you say, so long as it's the same as what I agree with, right?
Exactly.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. Okay. I told you I wear the pants in this
Should we
relationship.
agree to disagree on that one?
Only because you bought the pants for me.
Because you can't fit into my dresses. I've told you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It sounds like you're very, very similar to Chastity and I. So, yeah.
Yep.
Our money is our money. Your money is your money. And my money is our money.
Correct.
Yes.
Sounds familiar.
All right. So, next question. So, This is just kind of a, inquisitive question here, but we normally have a lot of YouTubers in the chat, creators, and a lot of folks will be rewatching this. So for those vloggers, what kind of equipment do you guys use, and what do you use to edit your videos?
Okay, Ilana's winning herself because
Very primitive we are.
Well,
We
yeah.
were just having a discussion just before, and we're saying, I don't know. I just said, I don't anyway think that we are vloggers. I don't think we are, because we've not had the opportunity to be anywhere yet.
Honey Bun, you just did a video on Vegemite beans.
Yeah, but to me, vlogging is going out somewhere and having wonderful adventures and sharing.
We
them
have
with everybody.
over 500
I don't
videos and live streams out there. What are you talking about?
Okay.
You are officially a vlogger.
Okay.
Correct.
So, okay.
Thank you.
Well, it's all very primitive, to be honest. Sean, what do we use?
Well, essentially, when we're doing our live streams, I'm a bit of a Mac nut. So I've got an iMac and I've got my my laptop, which is a MacBook Pro as well. Both have internal build cameras, so we use that camera for doing our live streams. If I'm not anywhere where we can use our external mics, we use the inbuilt microphone. When we're out and about doing our videoing, just a simple iPhone is what we use, and we might get the odd video coming from a Canon
camera,
a Lumix underwater camera, but that's basically what we use as our streaming, our vlogging equipment. And then in terms of doing some editing, if we do editing, we use the standard iMovie, which is what Mac gives us for free.
Yeah.
So that's the equipment we use.
Yeah, it sounds like y'all have made the same discovery as I have, is that in doing this thing, you try to find the simplest, most convenient to use, and it
Yep.
works. I mean, I'm doing this from just a Windows tablet. Back in the studio, I have a little bit more elaborate setup, but this works. There's nothing wrong with it. The picture's fine.
Yep.
The last cruise we were on, I shot all of my video with an iPhone, I think this is a 6 or something like that, and the video was fine. We do have a DJI Osmo that I was kicking myself because I forgot the charging cable for the darn thing, so didn't get to shoot it, but it shot just fine with the iPhone.
Yep.
And my brother-in-law, or not brother-in-law, my nephew, he contacted me and he said, "Hey, I want to start doing some of this YouTube stuff." And he's in high school. He said, "I don't think I have the money." I was like, "You can get started with $0. Just use your
Correct.
iPhone and create a StreamYard account and YouTube account." And that's what's really cool about all of this, I think, is it's great because we've met folks like you guys. We would have never met you otherwise. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kenny and Meg, and just, everybody. I know I've named a few people, but there's a ton of folks that we've met that otherwise we would not have. And through this media, it's been great.
You know what, Josh? Just add to that statement. Some of our best friends, we have never met personally to touch.
Yeah.
We've met them over this medium, and they are our best friends.
Yeah.
But we've never met them to touch.
Yeah. It's amazing how real people can be.
Absolutely.
In a virtual environment.
Correct.
Yeah.
I will be very surprised when we do come over for the group cruise. I will be very surprised if everybody is bigger than that.
Yeah.
People have legs.
Yeah.
Waist with legs.
And it's like, when we met Kenny and Pawpaw, it was just, and not so much the size thing. I don't know what it was. It's just when you meet them face to face and the pixels become real. And, Kenny is just one of those folks that just lights you up. And there's this ring of goodness around him. He's just a great dude. And same with Pawpaw. Pawpaw is a character. He is a character for sure. So since you don't consider yourselves vloggers necessarily, Alana, so I'll refrain from using
sorry.
that term.
I don't consider myself.
But before you began doing this thing that other vloggers use, but you're not a vlogger, what were your favorite YouTube channels to watch?
I'm pretty new to this YouTube thing. I had really never knew what it was about. It's now a whole new world. It was really the two that we started with was Sharon at Sea. We watched a lot.
Cruise Tips TV.
Cruise Tips TV. Yes, correct.
And Tony and
Jenny, yes. But now, wow.
And then also for me, it was Neil and Kimberly as well.
That's true, yes.
From Travel to a Taste.
Okay.
To travel and tour.
Oh my
goodness! I've heard the triple T's.
So confusing. Yeah. So confused. Yeah. To travel and tour. Yep.
So, for those of us who may not be so familiar with your YouTube channel and want to start doing a binge of your videos, where should we start? What's your favorite video of all time that you've placed on your channel?
Can I just say, if you were to binge and you watched the very first episode of Sean virtually sitting in the dark in this room with a messy bed, typical man, first of all, with the mess of a bed, spare bed, with just piles of things that we had just picked up and plonked on the bed. He didn't think, with no thought of what it looked like. It's hilarious.
Kind of like that heap over there.
No, that's tidy.
That's tidy. That's really tidy. I was mortified, but that's just me. I'm a bit house proud, but it is interesting to see how far we have come since that very first episode of Sean by himself virtually in the dark.
Yeah, I reckon
metaphorically and physically and literally, I think.
I reckon that would be my favorite is just watching where I've come from to where we are today. Some people might class us as being polished. Well, I am kind of polished. But what I was then was a nervous wreck, and I don't understand why, because I stand up in front of people and I talk all day. So there we go.
Yeah. No, we went back and my wife, when we were somewhat purging our channel, we were unlisting a few things and trying to streamline stuff. And we were looking at some of our early videos and she's like, oh, we should just delete that. And I was like, no. Let's leave it, because we're going to want to go back and look at that. And
correct.
It can also be encouraging for folks that are trying to get started to go back and see. And we are in no way polished. We're still trying to figure this thing out. We've only been doing it. Our first one was, we did a video from the Carnival Valor back in January, I think. And I go back and watch it. I have fond memories of it. It's the one that I always bring up when this question gets asked of me, because you can see when we're talking, that's where our love for cruising started.
And you know what? And when you watch somebody's show, like for example, whenever I watch your shows, and I just look and I think, you know what? There's a couple that's like switched on and passionate about what they're doing, and that's really the key to the whole thing. I think people, when they start this, we're all green-eyed, we're all green behind the ears, but the important thing is we get on and we do it, because that shows our passion. We want to give a message, and I just find it's all a learning curve.
Too. You progress.
Well, we were. One of the questions I asked earlier was the channels that we watched before we started doing this, and we actually started with paging Mr. Morrow. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff, but he's a Disney guy, and prior to all this cruising stuff, we were Disney folks, and we would take 2 trips a year to Disney World, and we would try to spend at least a week while we were down there. And we still love Disney. And we were always kind of on the fence about cruising. It was like, oh, well, we could cruise, but we want to go to Disney World. And
you could have had the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Well, if you can afford it, I can take I can almost take 3 Carnival cruises for what I'm going to pay
One-
for Walt Disney.
Yep.
But we do plan on doing a Disney cruise at some point for our grandson. When he gets old enough to kind of understand what's going on, we're definitely going to do that, because the immersion into the immersion that you get into the characters that you have on those ships is second to none for sure. But it doesn't really seem like my wife and I's cup of tea. We would rather be on a ship where we can go have some drinks and have some fun and let loose. So Carnival, Royal Caribbean, that's right up our alley,
Yep.
But we got our son for his graduation, our youngest son. We told him, we're going to take you on a cruise. That's what he picked, was to go on a cruise. And so this last cruise we got off of was actually that trip that we had purchased for him. And prior to that, we started watching videos. We started watching Lolita Loca and Pero DJ were the first 2 things. And especially watching Pero DJ, because D and J do a lot more together than Tony and his wife. And I think it's just because Jen, I don't think she likes the camera as much, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
She is on there, but through watching Pero DJ, we were like, you know what? We should try that. Let's just give it a shot. That looks fun. So we jumped in with both feet, started just recording our faces and ourselves. And then we started talking with Greg and Felicia from SCT Adventures. And they kind of showed us the ropes on where and what to do and what to use to edit and this, that, and the other thing. And we're trying to get better. Yeah, our thing always is this will only get better. We'll never get worse.
Correct.
So
and you can only you're only as good as your last video. So and if you keep on improving, or you keep on learning more to the point, you're going to improve regardless. YouTube has only got to watch out for guys like you, because you're going to do some awesome stuff.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
And what was your first cruise?
Our first cruise was on the Carnival Valor. It was a 4-day Mexican Caribbean cruise to Cozumel. And we realized that was nowhere near long enough. So on our final sea day, my wife was already booking another cruise. So we went, that was in January, January of this year was our first cruise. And
so how many to date?
So 3 to date. So we are cruise rookies. So we're learning this as we go. And we actually are going to do a video once I get caught up on our latest cruise on, okay, we're on our 3rd cruise. We feel like we're experienced. We're at least a novice cruiser at this point. What could we tell those folks who are getting ready to go on their first cruise, or maybe just finished their first and are getting ready to book another, while it's still fresh on our mind? So, but yeah, we've thoroughly enjoyed it. And the reason we booked that first cruise was so we could figure out how to cruise. We don't want our first cruise to be with our son on this, gift we're giving him for his graduation. So,
and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, for us going on our first cruise, and I'm just trying to find out when our last cruise was, to give you an idea how far away we are from from between cruises.
2016 and 2018, and we actually fell into cruising quite, not quite by accident, but we'd been looking at things to do for our honeymoon, and we had no thought of cruising. I'd never actually really thought about it. I didn't think I would like it. At that stage, I loved to fly to places, spend all the time there at a particular place, get a plane off, and there you are. And we're looking at places to go for our honeymoon, and we were going to look at going to a resort somewhere like Thailand, go to Phuket, or go to Fiji, or the Philippines, or somewhere, and the prices were astronomical. Mm-hmm. And we just thought, let's just have a look at prices of a cruise. And we found it was much better value for money for the 14 days that we had planned. And out of Australia, you get really nothing short of, say, 10 to 12 days. Yeah. Because it takes you about 3 days to get anywhere. So we chose to sail around New Zealand for our honeymoon. And we booked, I think, the next one while we were still on the ship.
We were hooked.
Yeah.
And then
that's when we went to Fiji.
And I was just checking up. we have had exactly 1,605 days since our last cruise.
Ooh.
2 years.
We had a couple cancelled, unfortunately, due to COVID. Otherwise, we would be,
Yeah, so it's going to be like, Christmas Day for you guys.
Absolutely.
It is every time anyway, but.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Amazing.
But for us, it's going to be interesting because it's going to be a bucket load of firsts. It's our first time to the US, first time on a Carnival ship, first time on the horizon, and first time in 2 and a bit years since we've been on a cruise ship. So,
and meeting all these beautiful people.
So we were talking a little bit about Tampa, and I was thinking about this as we're talking right now, but the headquarters for some of the folks I support is in Tampa. So, maybe if I can at least get down there, maybe and meet up with you guys at least one day while you're there would be good.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I'm going to see what I can do. I may be able to make up an excuse of a business trip to go down and at least have dinner with you guys one night.
You need an excuse.
Well, it's quite a trip just to drive down from Virginia. However, if I can convince the boss that I need to go to Tampa for a couple days.
That'd be awesome. We land back in Miami on the 23rd.
Okay.
We will be spending 2 days in Tampa and 2 days at Clearwater.
Okay. Yeah,
So, and we leave on the 27th. Do not make it after the 27th. We will not be here.
Perfect. Mental note. And I can always go back and rewatch this.
Correct.
And you're just a text away also.
Correct.
All right. So Meg has a question. She says she's planning on doing a live from a ship. Should she have a drink before it?
Meg, my suggestion,
before,
during, and after.
Yes. Never stop. and the best time to do it is during sail away,
Yeah.
Go get your fish bowl and just go. People will love it.
Absolutely.
You know us, we drink. We're going to drink. All right. Let's see. We got some new comments down here. All right. Back to the questions. So make sure I'm not skipping anything. So we'll hit this one more time because I want you guys to really put out Helping Hands for cruising. I know you already put out your Helping Hands itinerary. This is more for you, but your next cruise is a Helping Hands cruise. So what trips do you have planned for the future, and which one are you looking forward to the most?
Okay, well, we've got, as you all know by now, is our group cruise coming up in October, and we've got a domestic cruise booked for next March. We're leaving Melbourne, so we're sailing out of our home port, and we're just going up the east coast of Australia. There's actually, for the first time, lots of little short cruises happening. I think while the cruise companies are waiting for the South Pacific to fully open up, focusing a lot on the domestic market at the moment. So we're sailing from Melbourne to a place called Eden, which is a very pretty fishing village between Melbourne, right on the border of New South Wales, halfway between Melbourne and Sydney, and going up to Sydney. And then we're going to fly back.
And that's a significant trip because we're going with my parents on that cruise, and it will be their first cruise.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be special.
Our trip on the Valor, we took I took my mother-in-law, and it was her first cruise. And I really like our new, I'm kind of plugging myself here a little bit, not really meaning to, but the intro video, they walk into the Carnival Magic atrium, and you can just see the look on her face, because that was her first time setting foot on a cruise ship. And I'm just like, that.
Yep.
Got to share that with people, because that is just, her facial expressions say everything you need to know about cruising for the first time.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a fantastic feeling.
It is awesome.
Yeah, you are pretty amazed. You just don't know what to expect when you step on that ship. When we saw the Golden Princess, we were driving up to the port of Melbourne. We were like, wow, we thought it was the most beautiful ship and the largest ship in the world. And it's not, but it's still a big ship, the Golden Princess. We thought it was beautiful. And then we stepped on it. It was like, oh,
it's just amazing.
No idea. You can watch all the videos in the world, but when you actually do it, it's so amazing.
It is. So next question, what is your favorite place that you visited during your travels?
Does it? Not talking necessarily cruising. Can it just be any?
It can be
travel?
anything. Yeah, sure.
I've been to some many amazing places. I loved China and I loved South Korea and Israel. I think
Oh,
Israel
I've
was
been-
amazing.
Yeah.
China is incredible in terms of the countryside, the landscape, food, the people, the adventures you can do there. And I loved South Korea. The people are fantastic. Seoul is amazing. The countryside is beautiful. And Israel for history, to share history and just ancient civilizations and ruins and incredible beaches. And yeah,
I
brilliant.
visited Tel Aviv, and that was one of the things that really struck me because we took a tour of Israel, and the way they preserve their history over there is just, it blew my mind. You brought up the history. I wondered if anyone else, if that struck them as well. But I was there on a business trip, and I was kind of restricted because there was some Hamas action going on while I was there. But they took us to Caesarea and on the banks of the Med there in Caesarea, and I was just
up at Caesarea.
Yeah, Caesarea. Yeah.
You said the ancient, the big amphitheater.
Yep. Yeah, we saw the hippodrome and the theater and all that stuff. It was just
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. In some cultures, to the victor goes the spoils, and they eliminate everything from the previous culture. It's interesting that the Israelis, they preserved everything, whether they whether it was their enemies or the allies. That was kind of interesting.
It's all part of the story.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they don't hide any of it, the good or the bad, and that was refreshing to me.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, my favorite. This is an interesting question because I've seen some interesting places. Kaunas, Lithuania is probably one of my favorite places that I've ever visited because going to Eastern Europe, I'm thinking of dreary, old Iron Curtain kind of thing, and you go to this beautiful place in Kaunas that has some of the most interesting things to see, like the world's only museum dedicated to Satan is there.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, for €2.50, you can go see a museum dedicated to Satan. And the creepiest thing of that is at the end of it, they have a children's table where they want children to draw their idea of what Satan is, and they have all these pictures posted up on the wall. It's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it would be.
But it's not what you think. So it's more from an Orthodox Christian point of view, because to them, they want to make the idea of Satan, who they believe is the ruler of the earth and the terrestrial realm, to be very real to them. So, I felt like I had to just get it off of me. I mean, whether you believe or not, that's still, Satan's a creepy guy.
Well, was that part of a general European tour that you did, or was that a deliberate choice to go there?
No, it was a business trip. I was there for 20 days in support of some stuff we were doing with the military, and wow, I keep telling it's not very expensive to go. Well, getting there is expensive, but the day-to-day, the per diem type stuff is, I mean, they gave us €125 a day to survive on there, and probably only needed about 100, or not 100, probably only needed about €50 if at best to eat all day on. And you walk everywhere, everything's within walking distance. It's the typical European thing where, everything, their main streets are walking streets, and you just drive to get to the next town or villa. Very, very refreshing. I would go back to Lithuania in a heartbeat. All right. So, staying on the theme of destinations, what is your dream destination that you have not visited yet?
I do. There's so many. Tahiti. I would love to go to Tahiti.
Me, it's anywhere.
Yeah. Wow.
You're like me, man. If I'm off work and on a cruise ship or in the mountains, or doesn't matter. Like I'm off work and I'm good.
All I can say is if you've got anybody in the chat who has not experienced cruising and can, man, you want to get on that thing, because it's got to be the most cost-effective way to travel.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a floating hotel. You can eat as much as you want. Your services are done for you. You travel. You wake up in a different place. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Entertainment's thrown on. What more do you want?
I can't think of a better way to do it, you know, and you get a taste of culture and in other countries, just a little taste. You get just enough. You go back, you take a break, sea day,
Correct.
do it all over again.
Correct.
Yeah, eat good food, drink good drink,
Meet good people.
Yeah, some amazing people. You know, this last cruise in Nassau, we met some folks that, again, it's just locals that within Nassau that we never would have ever even thought about talking to or meeting, and got their contact information and everything, you know. And yeah, it's the aperture has been opened up so much for us since we've started cruising. It is just, it's amazing. It is truly amazing. All right, so last one here. What is the ultimate goal for your channel?
Well, for Helping Hands, for the Helping Hands for Cruising channel, the ultimate goal there is get monetized so that we can put more people on cruises. In terms of our own personal channel, it's, yes, let's get the friends up, but you know what, to all intents and purposes, it's so that we can just grow and make more friends and basically build the Helping Hands. That's our goal.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to Down Under Cruisers and Helping Hands, please do so. These are some great folks and they're doing great work. Not that my recommendation means much, but hopefully it does to the Mafia at least. Go over and like and subscribe, hit the alert bell, don't miss anything that they're doing. And continuing on that thread, what do you guys have going on for this week?
We have for you guys, it's Friday night. So and Friday night at 10 p.m. we run our standard live stream. Those that are on our side of the pond, it's our brunch time, midday. So we call it the brunch with the Down Under Cruisers. Is our regular Friday night or Saturday stream. Not sure if we've got a guest coming up on there as yet, but what we've been doing over the last few weeks or so, few months, has been getting people who are on the cruise with us in October, just a kind of like a getting to know you,
an introduction,
bit of an intro. So we'll be doing our stream. Maybe I might twist somebody else's arm to come on board with us on Friday night, and we will then learn more about another person who's going to be joining us on our cruise.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank
I know
you for
everyone's
having us.
time is precious, and you guys are great as always. And we can't wait to have another event here with you. Can't wait to meet you guys.
Likewise.
Yeah. So again, donate, subscribe, like, hit their alert notifications. That way you don't miss out on anything that Sean and Alana's doing. I'm going to bring them down so I can start closing this thing out. But again, thank you guys. We appreciate everything you guys are doing. It's always great to talk to you. Thanks a lot, Sean and Alana.
Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, so those Mafia, those are some great folks right there. Talk all the time about the people we've met in this cruise community and how quickly they become like family. These are Sean and Alana. That they're the epitome of that. Sean and I have been talking now for the past couple of weeks, and it's almost a daily thing. We've talked back and forth, and another great guy that I just and lady Alana on the other side there. I can't wait to meet them in person and break some bread and share some drink with them. So what's going on in our world coming up? So we have tomorrow, we're going to be part of the raid parade. and our time is at 2:05. But watch the entire raid parade. Our little niece, Raylan Grace, is going to be cooking some hot ham and cheeses. And if you are part of our Patreon channel, you've already seen that because you got the early release of that. But it will be premiering on YouTube tomorrow at 2:05. Make sure you go over there and check her out. She is a YouTube freak. She loves YouTube Kids and all kinds of YouTube videos like Blippi and the Wiggles for you Aussies. And, go over there, check and see what she's doing and give her plenty of views, because she's pretty excited about having her own video. She's already watched it several times, but she did a good job. She did a really good job. And then, of course, as always, on Sunday, we will have Shootin the Breeze with Moonlight Adventures at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, American Eastern Time. And we will be hosting SCT, or Adventures, as the Beach Please community says. And so we will have them on with us. This is kind of a full circle thing for me, because Greg introduced us to live streaming in the form of bringing us on his live stream when we were very wet behind the ears. And so we're returning the favor. So everyone join in and support that live stream, support Greg and Felicia, and get that information out there. So that thumbnail and YouTube invite will be going out here very soon. The chief thumbnail creator, Miss Chastity, she already has the thumbnail ready. Now my lazy butt just needs to get it put up on StreamYard so everybody can mark their calendars. Also, again, I always do this, and the sponsors are going to be upset with me, but we ran out of time with the free cruise thing. So Herman, make sure you let those guys over at Firebird's Three Finger Firework Hut know that we apologize. If they want to come back on and potentially do this again, we're more than happy to do that. But go over and visit Firebird's Three Finger Firework Hut if you haven't done so. Fantastic fireworks, and you'll only come away with missing 1 or 2 digits, hopefully. But anyway, thank you guys. Get out there, make the world great. Bless up, bless out. Be kind to everyone. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Moonlight Adventures, we're out.